Hey, hey, somebody asked me a comment, or made a comment about what did I do to insulate the smoker. I got this smoker from Academy Sports. They have the best prices on everything. And I got this for 220 bucks because it had rust on it. They forgot to bring it inside. But I knew it was going to turn to rust anyway, so I didn't care. But prices have really went up on these. I like these. They got their faults. It's an old country smoker. They're made in Mexico. But it's heavy iron. You can get a better one. There's a Brazos. If I was going to buy another one, that's the one I get. I mean, the thing weighs like 600 pounds. And it's like, it's not like the state of the art, but it's pretty damn good for the money. And, when you consider that thing is in the store, shipped, and it weighs like 600 pounds, whatever they charge is not a bad deal. But anyway, the comment was, how did I insulate the firebox? Well, I didn't know anything about barbecue or smoking things over a year ago. And I just wrecked a bunch of food, tried to do it. And, some of that stuff I couldn't even get the vultures to eat. And the reason for that is because smoking's more like baking as opposed to cooking. And a big brisket takes forever. And to do it right, it takes even forever times two. And you just can't believe when you start off that something could be in a smoker at 225 degrees for 12 hours and not be done. Well, it wasn't done. Things like that. And then you think, shit, I'm not going to spend 12 hours. So you crank up the heat and the damn thing's tough as nails because you went between 140 and 180, which is where the collagen melts down. And it went through that temperature too quick and it's tough. So you really got to take your time. But anyway, back to the insulating the firebox. When I first start out, you read all this crap. And it's like, oh, God, you got to insulate the firebox, which I did. I have fire bricks in the bottom, and I stacked them up as high as I could against the sides, and I have them at the front towards the smoke chamber. And then I bought those seals and sealed the lid. I mean, these are, like I said, not state-of-the-art, exactly finely fit joints. And I was all worried about losing smoke. Well, now that I know what I'm doing, I could care less what leaks where. I always have excess heat. If anything, I got to get rid of heat, not add it. So when I'm trying to stay around 225 and I've got the charcoal red hot, and then I dump it into the firebox and that gets red hot, and then I let the wood get going, and the last thing I need to worry about is losing heat. As you can see, I lose heat everywhere in this damn thing because the seals eventually had worn out. Comes out the front, side, top. I don't give a shit. Because you have so much heat around if you prepare the firebox right. So I did it at the beginning. If I got another one, I don't think I'd do any of that. Maybe put fire bricks that you can get at Home Depot or Tractor Supply. Excuse me. But other than that, I could care less. Like I said, I just got this going. I'm waiting to get up around 200, and then I'm going to kind of shut everything down. And that'll take me to around 225 slowly. And then I know that, minus a catastrophe, I don't need to babysit this thing. If anything, it gets lower. It doesn't get higher. So, I mean, there's nothing like wasting a day sitting out in front smoking meat. If you're a drinker, you're smoking marijuana, you probably wouldn't mind it. But I want to do some other things. So that's my recipe for doing it. And I try and cook around 215, 225. I don't have a fit until it gets past 250. And what I've learned to do is when you cook stuff properly, a lot of times, like in this case, a pork butt, you're not going to have that good bark because you're cooking at a low temperature. So most people seem to prefer the outside overcooked a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll cook this like a baby for however long it takes. It's only a 3-pound pork butt. And then when I get up to the temperature that I want, 155, 160 done, I'll pull out all the stops and crank it up to as high as I can. Put 2 logs on, just let a raging fire. I don't care what the temperature goes up to. And I'll turn it a couple times. I'll let that bark get crusty on the outside. I've injected it with marinade. I spray it with olive and canola oil and apple cider vinegar. And that kind of assures me that at that last end stage, I'm not drying it out. Because, pork's dry as hell anyway. And if you do these things, and you char it up a little bit at the end, you don't need to worry about drying it out. And then I will wrap it, and I'll let it sit for an hour or so Slice it, and you'll have the best of both worlds. You'll have charred bark, and you'll have a nice, moist pork butt on the inside because you've injected it with marinade and used olive oil and your favorite seasoning and water. So that's how I did it. Now, somebody may not agree with that, but people seem to like it. So party on.